This video will be discussing the ongoing Palestinian crisis. If you don't want to hear about ethnic cleansing and children being murdered, then please consider this a content warning. Israel murdered 11 children today. The ages ranged from 5 to 15 years old. These children were receiving psychosocial health care by the NRC, which is Norway, I think. And yet NBC calls these children and many of the other innocent civilians Hamas. Israel has been attacking non-combatants for years. This is not a new issue. This has been going on for a while, and yet Hamas has only existed recently. It's in like 1987. So, how do you explain the other 40 years of murdering Palestinians? I don't know. Which I should add is a war crime according to the Geneva Conventions. You're not allowed to attack non-combatants. These include civilians, medics, media, all of which Israel has done, by the way. But according to the IDF, all of these people that Israel attacks are Hamas. More than 500 Palestinians have been injured or killed since the last week, since the conflict has escalated. But according to the IDF, Israel is the real victim. Barely a dozen Israelis have been killed by Hamas. I think in total the number doesn't even hit 500 in the total conflict. The IDF has tanks going through the West Bank and Gaza and has bombed media buildings. So reporters and reports can't go out about the humanitarian crisis. The IDF has killed medics trying to resuscitate people. There was video that I literally I can't show of the IDF trying to throw a stun grenade into an ambulance, but they stopped because they were caught in 4K. I can't show that because I can't show any footage of the conflict because it literally goes against YouTube's terms of service. It's violence. It's war. Can't show that shit. But the IDF's response is all of these people that they are attacking are Hamas, which is the Chad tier response. Like, oh yes, we you know those like 5-year-olds we murdered? Well, actually, they were terrorists. Duh. All of this, according to the United States Secretary of State, is just not true. There has been, the general consensus by the State Department is while there are Hamas acting throughout the city, majority of the targets that Israel is targeting are civilians. So why are they doing this? On Sunday, a meeting was held by the UN to try and hold Israel accountable. Every country that had an opinion voted to hold Israel accountable, except the United States. And this is the third time a meeting of this aptitude has happened. Why does the USA not want to hold Israel accountable? Simple. They are our most valuable ally. We have given billions, and I do use that word. We've given about like $38 billion to Israel since the beginning of this conflict. Not a week ago, but like 48 years ago, or 80 years ago, or whatever, fuck. We literally fund their military. They have a system called the Iron Dome, which is one of the best anti-missile systems in the world. We pay for their missiles. Out of all of the countries we help and give foreign aid to, Israel is our biggest spender. So that is partially to do with why we're a little bit hesitant as a state to stop this conflict. A really simple solution. Quit funding the military and back out and hold Israel accountable. A really simple solution. There is no two-state solution. This is what's happening under the two-state solution. I don't think a viable two-state solution would work. But good old Joey boy, Mr. Joe Biden, talked about ending the crisis in Palestine and cried about how many innocents were getting murdered, while literally giving $738 million of weapons to Israel in the same day. It's kind of sus.